Ever wondered how the Pearl of Africa, Uganda, came to be what it is today? Let's embark on a journey through time, tracing the roots of this vibrant nation. Our story begins thousands of years ago during the Stone Age period. The land that is now Uganda was inhabited by hunter-gatherers who left behind fascinating artifacts, like rock paintings, that provide glimpses into their way of life. These early inhabitants were skilled in making simple tools from stones, bones and wood, utilizing their environment to the fullest. Fast forward a few centuries and we see a significant shift in Uganda's demographic landscape. This is the era of the Bantu migration, a mass movement of people from West Africa to the eastern and southern parts of the continent. Around the first millennium AD, the Bantu-speaking people began to settle in the area, bringing with them advanced skills in farming, ironworking and pottery. Their influence is still evident today in Uganda's culture and languages. The next chapter in Uganda's history is marked by the establishment of the Buganda Kingdom. Around the 14th century, the Buganda people formed a centralized kingdom, which grew to become one of the most powerful in the region. The Buganda Kingdom was organized around clans, each with its own totem, and was ruled by a king known as the Kabaka. This period saw the development of a complex political and social structure which played a key role in shaping Uganda's identity. As we move further into the 15th and 16th centuries, Uganda's story takes an interesting turn with the arrival of Arab traders. They introduced Islam to the region and established trade routes, exchanging goods like ivory and slaves for cloth, beads and firearms. This period opened Uganda to the outside world, setting the stage for the arrival of European explorers in the 19th century. That's how Uganda began its journey, a journey that was soon to be marked by the arrival of European explorers. The 19th century marked a significant turning point in Uganda's history. This era saw the arrival of European explorers, adventurers drawn by tales of the source of the Nile and the allure of uncharted territories. Their presence signaled the onset of a period known as the Scramble for Africa, a race among European powers to stake their claim on the continent. In the heart of this scramble was Uganda, a land teeming with natural riches and diverse cultures. The British, drawn by the strategic location of the Buganda Kingdom, established a protectorate over the region. In 1900, the Buganda Agreement was signed, a critical event that formalized British authority over the kingdom and its resources. This agreement, while promising modernization and protection, also marked the beginning of a new era of control, exploitation and transformation. With the signing of the Buganda Agreement, Uganda was now under the British rule. The winds of change blew across Africa in the mid-20th century, and Uganda was no exception. In the years leading up to independence, Uganda was a cauldron of political activity. Various political parties sprouted, each championing the cause of autonomy from the British colonial rule. The Uganda National Congress, the Democratic Party and the Kabaka Yeka were among the notable ones. These parties, diverse as they were, shared a common goal: to see Uganda free. The struggle was not smooth sailing. It was marked by intense negotiations, political maneuvering, and at times palpable tension. But the relentless spirit of the Ugandan people was undeterred. They yearned for a future where they could shape their own destiny, free from the shackles of colonial rule. Finally, their collective efforts bore fruit on October 9th, 1962. A day etched in the memory of every Ugandan. The British Union Jack was lowered, and the Ugandan flag was hoisted high, fluttering in the wind, a symbol of their hard-earned liberty. The joy and pride were palpable as Uganda took its first steps as an independent nation. However, the euphoria of independence soon gave way to the harsh realities of self-governance. The post-independence era was marked by political upheavals. The unity that had been forged in the struggle for independence began to fracture along tribal and political lines. A game of political chess ensued, with power changing hands in quick succession. The tension reached a boiling point with the ousting of Uganda's first Prime Minister, Obote, in a military coup. This marked the beginning of an era of dictatorship and political repression that would cast a long shadow over the country's history. Uganda's journey to independence was marked by hopes and dreams, but it was soon to be marred by political instability. The 1970s and 1980s were a dark period in Uganda's history. This was a time when Uganda was under the iron fist of a brutal dictator, Idi Amin, whose reign brought about fear, terror, and economic decline. Idi Amin came to power in 1971, overthrowing President Obote in a military coup. His rule, characterized by gross human rights abuses, political repression and corruption, saw the death of an estimated 300,000 to 500,000 people. From arbitrary arrests to public executions, Amin's regime was marked by a culture of impunity and violence. A significant event during Amin's rule was the expulsion of Asians in 1972. Amin ordered the expulsion of the Asian community, who made up a significant portion of the Ugandan economy. He gave them 90 days to leave the country, a move that resulted in economic turmoil and international condemnation. Towards the end of the 1970s, Amin's grip on power began to weaken. His ill-advised decision to invade Tanzania in 1978 led to the Uganda-Tanzania War, which ultimately resulted in his ousting in 1979. This war ravaged the country, further deepening Uganda's economic and social crises. Following Amin's downfall, Obote returned to power in 1980. But his second regime was no less tumultuous. His rule was marked by a brutal counterinsurgency campaign in the Luwero Triangle, where an estimated 100,000 to 500,000 people were killed. Obote was eventually overthrown in a military coup in 1985. The fall of Obote did not immediately restore peace and stability in Uganda. The country continued to grapple with civil war and economic instability until the late 1980s. However, it marked the end of a brutal era of dictatorship that had left the country in ruins. This period of dictatorship and war left deep scars on Uganda's social, economic and political fabric. It was a time of darkness that Ugandans would rather forget. But it also serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of democratic governance. Despite its turbulent past, Uganda has come a long way. The post-1986 era under President Yoweri Museveni's rule marked a significant turning point in the nation's history. With a vision for stability, Museveni led Uganda into a period of relative peace and economic recovery. His government adopted pragmatic economic policies, encouraged foreign investment and initiated structural reforms, which have since transformed Uganda into one of the fastest-growing economies in Africa. Yet, the journey wasn't without its bumps. The introduction of multi-party politics in 2005 stirred the waters of Uganda's political landscape. With parties jostling for power, the country has seen its fair share of political tension. But, as the adage goes, every cloud has a silver lining. These very tensions have spurred a vibrant political discourse, fostering a sense of democratic participation among Uganda's populace. Economically, Uganda has been making strides. The discovery of oil reserves, the growth of the service sector, and the rise of information technology have opened up new opportunities for economic expansion. Yet challenges persist. Income inequality, unemployment and corruption are issues that need urgent attention. But with a young and dynamic population, the potential for Uganda to overcome these hurdles is immense. Education, health and infrastructure development continue to be the government's priorities. The strides in these sectors are palpable, but the road is long and winding, demanding persistent effort. Another critical aspect of Uganda today is its commitment to environmental sustainability. Recognizing its rich biodiversity and the threats posed by climate change, Uganda has been at the forefront of conservation efforts and is actively promoting renewable energy initiatives. But the heart of Uganda, its true essence, lies in its people. Resilient, vibrant and diverse, the people of Uganda are the nation's greatest asset. Their stories, cultures and traditions continue to shape the country's identity, forming a rich tapestry that is as dynamic as it is enchanting. From a turbulent past to a hopeful future, Uganda continues to write its story. A story that is as diverse and dynamic as its people. So, what have we learned about Uganda's journey? Well, we started at the dawn of Uganda, exploring its early history and the vibrant cultures that shaped its identity. We then delved into the tumultuous period of the Scramble for Africa, where Uganda was caught in the whirlwind of colonial conquest. The flame of independence brought a new era, filled with hope and promise, but also challenges as the nation grappled with post-colonial political turmoil. The shadow of dictatorship loomed large, casting a dark period in Uganda's history. Yet, the resilient spirit of Uganda prevailed. Today, modern-day Uganda stands as a testament to this resilience. It's a nation that has learned from its past and is moving towards a promising future. It's a country that's rich in cultural diversity, teeming with wildlife, and ripe with potential. That's the story of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, a country with a rich history, vibrant cultures, and a promising future.